Hey, how y'all doing today? This is Nate, Chris, and Brennan. We're the Rule of Thirds. How are y'all doing today?
What
What's
is
up?
going
What's up?
on?
What's up,
Hi.
guys? What's up, guys?
Hello, hello, hello.
And today we are reviewing The Bad Batch, Episode 6.
Oh,
Mhm.
man. The Bad Batch episode 6.
It's starting to
This
get good.
episode
Starting to get good.
starting to get good. Yes.
Mhm.
Yo, man, this
So,
episode, honestly, easily my favorite episode so far. I'm
so
not
where do
gonna
you
lie.
guys want? Where do you guys want to start? You guys want to start with Sid? Like, where do you want? You want to get to the meat of it? Where do you guys want to start? You want to start at the beginning, like we always do, and work
let's
our way
just
through it, or you
let's
just
just
want to
start
jump?
to the beginning or just work our way back.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Okay,
think that's a good way to start this one because I think
So
this
we.
episode I think this is a good episode to actually do that with. Like things kind of actually build up kind of throughout the episode in a good way. Like, and it's not a bunch of filler. I like it.
Okay. Okay.
right, for
Okay.
sure. For sure. This
So
episode
what?
had
So
a
what?
lot of meat in it.
So what opens? What do we see? Tell me. Walk me through what we see. What do we see when it opens up?
So
So, opening episode, so we're starting and we're doing some Omega training here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of get to see that like she's I don't really know with Omega, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's like she obviously like the weapon she had like was a little bit too old for her, but like the like
Advanced.
what did you say?
Oh, you said old, or you mean like advanced?
It was too like advanced for her, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Okay.
like, she doesn't have like the strength for it yet. So
Mhm.
to be like as accurate every time when she shoots with it. But like, like I didn't see anything like crazy from her. I didn't see any like natural gifted talent, but like maybe just because she's like lacking physically and able to do it. But we saw some like training, they're kind of she's trying to become like more of the group and like almost like kind of fill that crosshair like part of the group, you know what I mean? Like with the long range sniping attacks. Like it almost kind of felt like they
And,
were trying to fill that void of
and
him
she
with
did,
her,
yeah, and she did hit the target 3 times
She
yeah,
did. She
out
did.
of 12.
yeah.
Out of 12. Right. They made it look like she was like such a natural and like yeah, she missed like
Yeah,
freaking 9 other times. So, and that was definitely interesting. But I definitely looks like they're trying to fill the void of like her with him. I mean with him with Omega almost. So they're like trying to train her up, which is interesting to see. But we get to see, Sid gives the Bad Batch another mission and kind of agrees to like kind of have their back, like against the Empire because obviously they know that they're looking for them and uh it's the
tell us what this mission is, Nate. Brandon, tell us what the mission is.
So they're getting a tactical droid, which is one
Mm.
of the droids that kind of led the droid armies against like the Jedi's and stuff like that, and the
Mhm.
Empire and the clones. So they're mainly using them to try to get.
Hang on. Can you say that slower just for me? You said the tactical droids did what?
They fought against the clones.
The tactical droids.
Fought
So
against.
whose side were the tactical
They
droids
were
on?
they were they were with the Empire at the time. This is
Yeah, they
before
were on
Order.
Okay.
This
Separatist
is before.
side.
This is before Order 66 and everything like that. So the tactical droids actually have information on how to defeat clones in combat. And they
Mm.
were like, they were like the leaders or like the lieutenants, the generals of like the droid army.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So their
Yeah, they
so their information, a little bit important for current times.
Okay.
yeah, they
So this
were
is
like the they kind of controlled like the droid army essentially. Like they would be like kind of like the brains behind the operation. While like, obviously like the separatists weren't there. Like they would like pretty much command the droid army. So like they kind of had like more intel on how to like defeat the clones and like Jedi and stuff like that. And like as the transition from the Republic to the Empire is happening, that information is like kind of important, like to kind of use nowadays. So that was like the whole like pretty much point of the mission for the most part.
and do we know why they have to get this? Do we know why? I mean, Sid just said, "Hey, you're going to get this." Did she say why? What's
Sid doesn't
the
mention a reason. No, Sid just is
there?
it's the job.
Right.
For now, at least
there's
we
an
don't. For now, on Sid's end, we don't know why Sid wants them to get it. Then
okay,
on
okay,
her end, it's just she just told him it's a job. Get you some credits.
okay.
Right. Right. It's kind
Do
of
we
like
have? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, saying yeah, like it's kind of like just like a job that apparently she has an employer that's paying her for
I was
It's
getting ready
like
to ask
same
you
thing.
that. Do
Yeah.
we have any inkling of who this employer is per se yet? Do we have any guesses? Did we get any more information on that? No.
No,
Yes.
not really. But there's a bunch of employers working behind the scenes here. I don't know
Oh.
if they're all the same one or
Oh.
not, but there's a bunch of things going on
Yeah, there's a
here
bunch of
that
people with the
people are
money bags
working
out here
for.
just paying for stuff. Just
Yeah, yeah, that like what to do with this Clone Force 99 crew, primarily mostly
Mm,
Omega. There are a
okay.
lot of just money going around and missions here, so which we'll
Okay.
dive into that a little later. But yeah,
So Sid goes to Hunter and the crew and it says, "Hey, you're going to do this," and she said
Mm.
something that I thought was kind of interesting. She goes, "Hey, with the amount of heat that's on you guys, like almost like you guys have to do it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? This is the heat from this is. I'm assuming this is that heat from Tarkin and Crosshair
Fennec
and all
Shan.
Fennec Shan. Okay, all right, cool. So
Yeah,
off they go on the mission. There's a real small kind of scene where I think Omega asked kind of the question that I was asking. Why are we going to get these droids? And I think it was Echo that says something that's a very, really, really, really important line. Do you remember what he says?
no, actually, I don't remember.
He says something about the more the droids fight.
oh yeah, the more they learn,
Yes.
or the more they won, the more they learn, and the more they learn, the more they won. So it was like a situation where the ones that kept winning, the ones that won a lot, kept winning because they could adapt essentially.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
I do remember this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah, he says the more they fought, the more they learned. So that to me tells me, okay, somebody, obviously, yes, they're being sent to go pick up these droids,
Mm.
but they want the information about the droid. That's why I went back and was just like, hey, who did these droids fight against? Did they fight against clones? Who they fight against? Because somebody wants information of how to defeat somebody.
They fought
Right.
against
So they
clone and
also, I mean,
Jedi's.
fought against the Jedi as well. So,
Okay.
which I'm a strong believer that they know that there are definitely some Jedi that are alive.
Maybe a few
Mhm.
Ewok.
Somebody that is looking for the tactical droid knows that there are some Jedi that are still
Was it?
alive. So,
They may have
Okay.
fought a few Ewok, which the clones and stuff like, or the droids are known to struggle against. So, I mean, valuable
Ewok,
information.
Man, the Ewoks are dope. Man,
they are dope.
so we see them land on this planet. What was the name of the planet or the planet? No, it might. Okay.
I forgot. I ain't
Um,
gonna lie to you.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember.
um, but it's essentially
It's a scrap
planet
planet.
is a
Reminded
scrap
me of
planet.
Geonosis for some reason.
A mill, if you will. We see them get off and they have to climb up. We see, they go up this ladder. We see Wrecker struggle with the heights. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's.
Yo,
Uh,
this man wrecker, man.
Brennan, I'm gonna let you take it from where I left off, man. Go ahead.
Yo,
But just tell us what happens. I know there's a lot. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But Nate, Brennan, kind of walk us through what happens there because we see some old faces. And we see
So-
something, and we see something that we kind of were all have been talking about. Yeah, okay, something this is about to take a turn. So go ahead.
this man wrecker is like 2 steps from falling off the cliff, man. Like literally, like he's like right on the edge of the cliff, like waiting to like just like trip, fall over. Like he has just hit his head like one too many times. All right, and like yeah, he's like scared of heights, and like at first it was like weird. I thought it was like his head was like hurting or something, but no, he was just like scared of heights or whatever. And again, like this man like hits his head again. Like he is like literally 2 steps of falling off of the cliff here. Okay, and boom, we just see him like just like uttering like these crazy words like all of a sudden.
No. But what is what is he uttering, Brennan? Come on, man. You can't rob the people with that. What is he saying?
He is saying like, yo, this was like the coolest scene, honestly, to me in the entire episode. Like he was just like uttering like, good soldiers, like, follow orders, like that whole line, like that, like freaking Crosshair saying, and like he just hears Crosshair like
Yeah, he
also
heard
saying it,
Crosshair.
which
Cause I
was
put
like
it in. Cause I
also
put it in.
interesting to me.
I put it in. I
Yeah.
put the captions on because I like to also read and hear it at the same time because I missed something.
Yeah.
And it definitely
Mhm.
said Quicksilver. I mean,
Crosshair.
Crosshair. What's it called?
Yeah.
Saying it. So I'm also wondering. This draw back into like what they're doing to Crosshair ship, where they're over tuning it and stuff like that.
I did not think about that. Was
Nate,
that
you're onto
actually
something.
Was that actually Crosshair?
Because I'm like, what? I'm like, when did he hear Crosshairs? I think I remember he like where he probably heard it, but like, why is he remembering that now though? Like,
But what? And also, why is he repeating what Crosshair says?
exactly.
Actually, verbatim.
Right. Right.
Okay, can I just slide something in here real quick?
Yo.
So here's and Nate, I'm with you. I'm with you. So you hear the Emperor say to Cody, "Execute Order 66." You don't hear Cody's voice. You don't hear the Emperor's voice. Nate, I'm with you. You hear
Crosshair's voice.
And if I'm not mistaken, when the whole Order 66 went down,
Yeah.
it was either Cody's voice or the Emperor's voice.
Right.
So if Order 66 is happening to Wrecker, I would think you would hear one of those two voices, but you
Right.
don't.
Right.
You don't.
And so like Crosshair is almost like they made him so that he can like start to infiltrate the group, I feel like, and like get them to start to execute.
Man, I didn't think about that till now. Nate, that's an awesome
Yeah,
call.
I said, what if I started thinking about it like, what if them over tuning Crosshair's chip is to make it so that his chip sends out a strong enough signal to the people who were in his previous group because they were on hands too. That now his chip can kind of start influencing their chip. Like, cause I would have to assume that before this isn't the first time Wrecker has banged his head. Like,
no, I'm assuming that's where he gets that name.
Yeah, he just seems like the type, and his chip has never kicked in to start working or functioning normal. No other time. Like, it's not like just because the Order 66 was the issue doesn't mean the chip wouldn't function if he just all he needed was to hit his head a few times for it to start functioning the correct way.
Right. And Brennan, this is kind of a question for you, just because I know you were really into episode 3, and maybe I'm looking for a confirmation here. But you hear the Emperor say to Cody, "Execute Order 66."
Right.
And Cody says something, and that message is broadcast out to all the drones, right? All the clones.
Right.
Nate, man, I'm picking up what you're putting down, man.
I'm thinking that
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm picking up
because you don't hear Cody's voice, nor do you hear the Emperor's voice.
Right, because I mean, like the Clone Force 99 is supposed to be different, but like if you like take one of Clone Force 99 and you try to like reroute it, where like, oh, we're gonna get them too. Like now,
but essentially,
we're gonna use one of their own.
You're right. Wow.
That's freaking wild. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was it for him. I was like, this is it. I was like, this man is gone. He is long gone. Like,
man, I said it. I said it in another video, man. I think
the reckoning is coming. All right,
the big lovable guy. I think it's gonna be sad. And
it's gonna be real sad.
I still think this whole show is going to end in a sad way. But let's 100%. Talk about these. Let's talk about these familiar faces. Who wants to dive into that? Who do we see?
Oh my gosh! Season 7 of the Clone Wars, man. Like literally, just when I thought this section was useless, in Clone Wars season, like Chris, we always talk crap on this part. Like we're just like, the first like 6 episodes of Clone Wars season 7, just like why? Like I don't know, understand like why Ahsoka even like went here, but like man, freaking Dave Filoni calls back this like, and like for some reason I was so happy to see them. I don't even know why.
Wow.
Like they already
See, I was thinking the opposite, but go ahead.
really. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god.
was thinking like like part of me is like watching like Brennan is over here cussing these people out, like he hates these two. But go ahead.
No, I honestly, it's crazy because like yes, like the season 7 when I watched, it, I was like, I honestly don't know why, but we see Trace and Rafa again. All right,
Mm.
I honestly don't even remember. I don't even know why. Like I like when I watched it, the Clone Wars season 7, I was just like, I don't even know why they even did this. But like I don't know, I just love seeing the familiar faces and the connections between two different series, and I just love it.
Cool.
I don't know why. Just love seeing the connection, and so we see them again, and they are also after the same tactical droid, right? And we see like the all-out battle between like the security droids, like Clone Force 99, and them. Like, and
Hey,
just like
you put some respect on their name. They're police droids.
yeah, you're right. They're
They're
police
above
droids. My bad.
security.
They're they're above security. The police droids. Yeah, you're right. Like they're man, and so we see them, and like they also got assigned a mission to get the tactical droid, and that's a whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought it was like a quick kind of like cameo. We would see them for like a little bit, but they might be more integrated into the series than we initially thought from what we saw. But yeah, like I mean, I'm interested to see like what like first of all how they even got here. Like I mean, like from where they were before. Like with Ahsoka and like, and I again like this, I feel like hints more that we're gonna see Ahsoka 100%. Like this, like if this doesn't like hint now, like we're gonna see her. I don't know what does. Like I would be ashamed and disappointed if we don't see her at this point, honestly, because we got Rafa and Trey, two people she's interacted with. We heard like Rex's name floating around everywhere. Like we have to see Ahsoka. And Chris, going back to what you said, like I really think it's like they're gonna see Ahsoka and Wrecker's just gonna like go crazy, just like go freaking wild.
For his sake, I hope he doesn't.
Because like it only like you only turn that way like when you see Jedi, right? We saw like Crosshair asking Hunter, "What are you doing?" You let him escape when it was like like earlier in the series when the Order 66 first happened, right? So like Wrecker, like yeah, he might say good soldiers, all this other stuff, but like what's gonna trigger that in his mind? Like it has like
when he thinks he sees a Jedi, that's what I'm thinking.
Exactly, 100%. We're gonna see Ahsoka in the series, 100%.
When he thinks he sees a Jedi, I think that's what's going to trigger everything.
100%. That's what's like gonna like push him like right over the edge, right over the edge.
There's the other thing though. I also think that if the other members of the Bad Batch see that happen, that they're going to make a push, definitely with Tech on their team. They get the inhibitor chips removed.
Listen, the Bad Batch are the most clueless bunch I've ever seen in my life.
They are. You're right. They
have
disappointed me in a few things.
Self-destructing, and like nobody freaking notices. Like they're like, Wrecker, where are you? Where are you? Like, what's going on? And like this dude's like knocked out. Like, I'm like, bro, like, where are you guys? This guy complains about his head every 2 seconds, and nobody notices.
I can also say,
that's definitely a good point. Even with like Tech as smart as he is, like somebody's like, yeah, we get this guy some Advil, some Tylenol, get him set up.
Honestly, they're like, yo, where are you? I'm like, yo, your teammate's freaking knocked out, man.
I will also say,
going through some changes.
Tech is like the smartest dumb guy I've seen because like his common sense is trash.
Like, yo, he's just like, yo, guess what? I got this. You know what I can do?
It's almost
I can like supercharge this tactical droid and make sure that like it can take over this armor. But you know what? I can't tell that Wrecker is changing right in front of us.
And I think this.
Dude.
I was gonna say, I think there's a reason for that. I think because Hunter said something when this is toward the end of the episode where he said it was easier when they were just soldiers. Yeah. For a long time, that's all they were. They didn't have to think of this other stuff that people were lying. They just went in, followed orders, did mission, that was it. So the concept of people kind of like lying to them, like, and they weren't like on the interrogation mission. They were all like, action missions. Like, so they're not even going there to talk to people. Like, they're going to shoot, capture, rescue, whatever. Like, so the concept of having to deal with people who lie, steal, cheat, whatever, is actually new to them.
That's why I think
and
Echo could be the difference maker. Because Echo's already been lied to, cheated, and manipulated.
And
100%.
And I think the problem with them is they're already older. I think that's why Echo is able to pick. I mean, not Echo. Omega is able to pick up on stuff easier than them because she's still younger. Her mind's still open to like the concept of everything, pretty much. Still,
Right.
they're old. Like they're kind of, a lot of them are set in how they are. Like they're trying to adapt to like how things have suddenly changed, but like they're not as quick to adapt to things as like a child is. Like. They're just not, and like that's the stark difference between like how Omega was able to learn, like, say, his identity and stuff like that. Like they're already older, and they're suddenly thrown into a situation that is way different than anything they've ever had to go through. They've only ever had to follow orders, and then go back to wherever their brackets were, and wait for the next orders, and interact with themselves and maybe the other clones. But they didn't even interact with the other clones because the other clones didn't mess with them, so they were really just them five. So that's all they really had. Like,
for sure, and like Chris, I agree with you. Like, I think Echo will be the difference maker because he started off as like a regular clone. I feel like, and like he like joined the group, so he has like a different perspective a lot of times. And like
he's still boys with Cody.
Right. And then Rex as well. So
and Rex. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like he has like a different perspective almost. Like he kind of been through some things that I feel like the bad bats haven't always experienced. Because like they were like the elite force. Like they kind of like were like the brutal force that like they can just get the mission done like very easily. And like I feel like
they're the damn Suicide Squad. They're the Star Wars version of the Suicide Squad. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Black Ops, just
they got the black armor and stuff like that. They just go in.
If you can caught, we will disavow all knowledge, of you. We don't know about you. Don't get caught.
Clones, never heard of that.
Yeah, that's what they are.
No, seriously. Listen, I'm just happy that like Hunter actually was like pretty decent today. Like he
was.
He actually did his thing.
He has a line at the end.
If he would have got beat up by like Rafa or something, I would have been off the bandwagon forever. I'd have like, yo, this Hunter, I'm done with him. But he did his thing out there. Rescued Omega. He was doing his thing.
I mean, he didn't get the dub over either. They had a little quick exchange. Like he didn't get the win either. Like they kind of tied. So I guess he's on the level of Roth in combat. Below Fennec equal to Roth. Below. But both of them must be below the Moondragon in terms of like if we're gonna make a tier list here. Like we got like Fennec at the top and like the Moondragon.
Like how elite is the Suicide Squad?
Man, I think Hunter, man, his best moments are yet to come. I really do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Hunter, like when everything turns to crap, like all seriousness, is gonna like become like that guy. Like he's gonna like somehow just like fend off everybody.
Hunter's going to turn into Star Wars version of John Wick real soon.
Real soon.
Okay, real soon.
100%. When Wrecker like goes out and goes off
Hunter's going to be like.
Don't be surprised if like low key take him down or something.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to get the fair one with Crosshair. I'm expecting for that to happen. Actually.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be like the showdown.
For that to happen.
100%.
So there were at the end here. There were two key scenes. Nate, you kind of alluded to one already, where Hunter says, it was just easier when all we had to do was follow orders. But he essentially gives information from the droid to Rafa and says, hey, you're going to do better with this than us. What was your take? What were your thoughts with that?
Their thought, I think it's more like was it Roth who was talking to him and essentially said like we're doing this for the Republic. Essentially, they try to make a difference and help and get things back like in good order. Like, what are you doing it for? And when he couldn't give an answer, because I mean they don't know what they're doing this for. They're just doing this for money.
Yeah, true.
I feel like that pulled out the fact that like they still want to do good. And he's like, well, I mean, I couldn't even give you a solid answer for why I'm doing this other than money. And y'all risked your lives just as much as we did. And you're doing it for an actual reason. Like, I gotta side with the reason because that's the reason that, I mean, definitely was considering the fact that that's the same reason that they used to fight for.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm assuming when they return to sit without the information, there's probably gonna be consequences, right?
Yeah, and
100%.
I would
Yeah.
also assume like Tech, you're pretty smart. I would assume you maybe could make another copy.
Made a
Yeah,
copy.
I think he still got it though. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Cool.
You're a
Yeah,
tech
'cause, yeah,
genius. You're like, yeah, we only bought enough for one copy.
yeah.
So
I
let's
think he made like another copy of it.
go back to Rafa and Trace because there was a couple key moments with them, and
Right.
they said I think Hunter said something like, "Oh no, we're the good clones," and I'm kind of dumbing it down, but he said something along that, and they're just like, "Oh well, you know, we've had running with clones before." Are we assuming that that's Rex, Cody? Are we assuming that's what that is?
I don't know what scene you're talking about, and I remember them saying like he was like, oh yeah, like they said like, oh, we're different, and she
Yeah,
was like,
he
yeah,
said
like
something
I've
like
been
that.
told, yeah, and she was like, I've been told that before.
Right.
So I do wonder who she's talking about
Yeah.
because Ahsoka did say she was different than other Jedi, and Rafa,
Wow.
I mean, she never really liked Ahsoka,
Mm.
like really, but her and Trace were very good friends to say the least. So like when she did say like, oh, like I've been told that before or whatever, I don't know if she's like was talking about Ahsoka, like trying to hint at that, or like I don't know. I'm very interested to know who she was talking about though.
Okay.
That like she's been told different. But it's crazy because I knew they were lying, 100%, when they were talking about like trying to fight for like the Republic and stuff, because they were the same people that told Ahsoka they hated the Republic because they lived like in like pretty much the depths of Coruscant, essentially. So it didn't really surprise me like what happened at the ending, because Rafa, as you know, like from Clone Wars season 7, was all about the money. She was working with some sketchy people. She really did not care. She just said she's doing whatever is good for both of them to make money. And that's how Rafa's always lived her life, essentially. And Trace just kind of goes along with her. And so when she was like, oh yeah, like, we're trying to help the Republic, all this other stuff, I knew for a fact she was lying, 100%.
Really?
And yes, because like the first, like interaction she had with Ahsoka was just talking about how like, and she didn't like the Jedi, the Republic, because they didn't do anything for like a lot of the citizens of Coruscant other than like themselves. You know what I mean? Like they lived like in the depths of Coruscant where like no one really, they kind of were against the Republic essentially. So now you have this empire taken over that's probably hiring a bunch of people to get rid of like the old Republic regime. So she's like, oh, listen, like I just found this tactical droid, got this information, but I got some more money to be made with these clones over here. You know what I mean? And so I want to see like where that goes, and that's like another employer that she's employed by. So I definitely think like she's not working for the right side, 100%. She's definitely on the Empire side, if anything.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and we're all fans here, and I've looked at other things. I got a question for you,
Yes.
especially.
Yes.
Ahsoka, did she ever have a droid? Did she have a bot? Did she have?
I don't think so.
She didn't have like an R2. She didn't have like an R2D2.
I don't believe so.
I don't believe she did. She have like, no, I don't think she did. I'm trying to think, and I feel like I know where you're going here. I don't know where they got that R7 from.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know where Trace and Rafa got that R7 from.
Okay.
That's a good question though. I don't think she
used to hang out with R2D2, the original, but she never had her own actually.
Right, because we all know R2 was Anakin, so
yeah.
I don't think she ever had like a. I remember she had like.
So that R7, we don't think that's hers. We don't think that's Ahsoka.
No.
I don't. The reason why I'm trying to think about this. The reason is because I remember they were on the ship where Darth Maul was. Clone Wars season 7, right? They're on the ship where Darth Maul was. They get the inhibitor chip out of Rex's head with the help of some droids. One of them I could have remember looked like an R2 unit, but I don't think that like when they were battling against all the clones down the stretch where like the ships crashed and everything, I don't think she had any like R2 droid, like R2 type droid on her at the time. So
okay,
I don't think that they would have gotten.
So when the two sisters say you know, R7 call so and so, and I think they say call him.
Mm.
What are our guesses? Where are we? Who are we guessing? Who is it? Be the guess. Who is it?
I'm guessing it's Tarkin, honestly.
Think it's Tarkin
That's
with the
my
hoodie
guess.
on?
With the hoodie?
Oh, with the hoodie. Oh, he did have
Yeah,
a hoodie on.
he's got some thick layers. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think it can only
Oh,
be a
I
couple
don't
things.
know.
Cause what if it's
I have
Obi-Wan?
no idea.
Mm.
You think it's Obi-Wan?
Could be. He's the only one. He's only.
You,
I'm only going by the kind of their clothes. I know what's it called. It could be
right.
lying, what if she's not, and they got reached out by one of the Jedi to get the tactical droid.
Mm, that could be true.
We just
But
didn't
like,
get to hear a
you think
voice.
Obi-Wan would hire? You think Obi-Wan would hire them?
I think Obi-Wan's resourceful enough that I think Obi-Wan would kind of just do whatever needs to be done to get the job done. At this point,
Do you
no,
think?
I don't think it necessarily has to be Obi-Wan, but I think it can be.
Oh,
It can be any. I think it
okay.
can be any, just Jedi just kind of undercover Jedi at this point in time.
Do you feel like any Jedi would like want to like get like the Bad Batch? Like what reason do you think they would want
I don't think they
them?
would. I don't think they necessarily care about the Bad Batch.
Mm,
I think it was just that person on the thing wanted the tactical droid. They didn't reach out to the Bad Batch. Now I don't know if that same person couldn't also be the same person who reached out to Sid. And they
Mm.
could be the same
mm,
person. And he just sent out a wide net. Whoever gets it, I mean, I'm gonna pay you.
I see.
Because
I see.
no one said jobs are mutually exclusive to one thing. If I remember, like
Oh,
in the
100%.
Mandalorian and stuff like that,
Sid,
bounty hunters and stuff like
100%.
that.
I'm sure Sid's dealing on both sides.
Yeah, so like,
Right. Because I wonder, because like, when she called them and she was like, oh, like I think I might have like found like those clones or something that like they might like she mentioned them. Like, I wonder if a Jedi would want anything to do with those clones. Like,
if it's those
would they assume
specific
that?
ones, because they've heard stories from deserters or something like that, that they're
Mm,
also, not under the effects of the Order 66, then they might.
true, true, and maybe they want to know like what's going on with the other clones. So that could be true. I can
Yeah,
see that.
it could have been Rex.
It could have been Rex. It could have been Rex and Ahsoka. Yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't
you're right.
necessarily have to be in Clone Armor no more. He's a deserter like they are.
He's right, exactly.
And he's not even he's on a bigger level deserting than they are because he deserted in the middle of Order 66 in front of the other
He
clones
did.
with Ahsoka. Like they,
Yeah, he's practically one of them at
yeah,
this point.
he. So like
So
there's so many people.
I'm not even about to take credit for this idea. I'm not gonna say where I got it from, but
Mm.
I watch reviews and stuff like that. I'm not even gonna say where I got it from. But this person had a theory that what if this is literally the start in this most primitive phase of the rebellion? Maybe it's people looking for information on how to, essentially fight off armies of clones. They're clones, right?
Uh-huh.
And now that the clones have all turned, maybe this is maybe and I know, Brennan, you're gonna love this. Maybe Rafa and Trace are like literally the origin of essentially the rebellion. And they're giving this information to somebody who, I'm not going to give that whole, Poe Dameron, spark to the flame, kind of thing. But like, what if they're giving that information to somebody who's prepared to take on the drones? Now, I keep saying drones, clones. Now that they've essentially turned. Maybe it's somebody who's trying to essentially maybe orchestrate or put together their own army in hopes of defending against the clones because they've turned.
I can see that. I'm definitely a believer of that strategy there.
I'm not going to say this person's name. I'm not going to give any sort of way because I'm not about to, psych this person or whatever. But the idea that I heard, I was just like, That kind of
Right.
makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
You know, and it goes back to the thing what Hunter said. You'll be able to do more good with this than we will.
Mm.
Yeah, that could very well be the spark to the rebellion. The Bad Batch could lead into the story how the rebellion the origin of it, like how it starts after, because this is literally right after that.
100%. 100%. I can see that completely because, I mean, it's all about the transition. That's like what the whole series is like mainly about. It's like the transition between the Republic to the Empire. So why not like also the transition from like the Empire to like the rebellion, like versus the rebellion type stages as well. I mean, I can see that too, definitely.
So in all the Star Wars movies, who was the biggest advocate of the rebellion?
Advocate of the rebellion,
Like Leia.
Princess Leia.
So there you go. That's my little hint for you.
But I think she would be too young at this point in time.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Nate.
I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this.
You're absolutely right. Because she had to learn.
Might not be her per se, but like
she had to learn it from somebody.
She had to learn from somebody. Interesting. Wow. I mean, if that were the case, wow. I mean, that isn't much of a possibility.
And my whole thing with this is, what are your thoughts if that's a possibility? And we were kind of guessing of who we thought it was, and I'm sure we may find out, we may not find out, but that was just something that I heard, and I'm not about to go into great detail where I got it from, but I'll just say this much: it's out there if y'all want to see it. Okay.
Oh, 100%. If that were, I want to see that. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Not that I'm trying to throw shade in anybody's direction or whatever, but it was an idea, and I was like, maybe this is this something I should bring up or not? But
for sure, for sure. No, we want to see that. We would definitely want to see that. So I mean, I honestly I think it can be anybody at this point, honestly. But I think that's what I love because I want to know which direction they're gonna go.
I like the Obi-Wan idea. Just the way the person was dressed, you saw kind of a hoodie type, kind of garb, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Those are usually associated with Force users a lot of times.
It also could have been like some sort of robe, which is associated with like royalty. I also thought it could have been like Saw Gerrera too. I'm like, okay, it could have been him.
Could have been him. We saw him already once before.
Yeah, he had a big part in the whole rebellion. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, ultimately, we don't know. I think this is a good point to throw on episode 6. Nate, help me again. How many episodes are there? 14?
14, 16, something like that.
I thought there may have been 16.
Okay, so there's a lot more. Okay, so episode 7, as we always do, any guesses to what we might see, just to kind of tie a bow on this? Anything we might see? Anything you guys think we'll see? I still don't know where the hell the Bad Batch is going. I mean, I'm assuming they're now working for Sid. I'm assuming they got to go back and deal with the repercussions of them not bringing information, or if not Echo. Oh shit! What's his name?
Wrecker.
No, who's the other one? The smart one.
Tech.
Unless Tech made a copy, they got to deal with the repercussions of coming back to Sid empty-handed, which could lead in its own little adventure for episode 7. Any guesses what we might see in episode 7? What do you think?
A reckoning.
Ooh.
A reckoning.
So you think episode 7 is it?
Yes, I think so. I'm surprised it wasn't episode 6, honestly. Like I just think he's just like so close to the edge.
Here's my question: do you think, because remember now, Crosshair didn't turn on his boys. He was just questioning Hunter, like, "Yo, why did you kill this little?" He was like, "He was a boy. He was a kid."
Right.
good soldiers follow orders. He's a kid.
Right.
So do you really see Wrecker? See, I guess that's the thing I don't see. That's why I'm so kind of hell bent on this sort of. When he sees Ahsoka, that's the problem.
Right. I think it might activate. Like, I don't know if he'll like. I don't know if he'll like, so to speak, like turn on them, but I think he'll like activate it like officially. Like, it's like activated. Like, and people are gonna be like, yo, like he's acting a little weird. Like, he won't be as like silly as he is before. Like, he'll act like a little bit more serious. But that'll be like for a couple. Like, I think he's gonna like lock it in. The switch is gonna be in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nate, what about you?
So I have another perspective on it because I think because it seems like it's being influenced from an outside source. Because even when Crosshair was kind of talking to him, he started responding back saying no. Like he could kind of. So it isn't like a complete like the chip is just taking over. It's like he's kind of being talked to and influenced. I feel like unlike Crosshair's situation, Wrecker may have to be talked back into like being on the good side essentially. Unlike Crosshair's situation now, but I would have to wait and see because I don't 100% know that, but right now it just seems like it's more like the chip is trying to influence him, and the more he kind of bangs his head, the more the chip kind of gets to activate and tries to influence him into switching over. But I don't know if that's necessarily what's going to happen, or like this maybe when Omega gets to step in. And
yeah, now you're talking about language.
Use her nurturing medical powers.
Yeah, because I just came up with that. Do you think Omega will be able to talk Wrecker down?
Listen, these medical abilities these Kaminoans kept referencing, I don't know what it was. But I think we could possibly see it be utilized on Wrecker. I could see that.
Wow. Interesting.
I could see that. I could see that. It's just like, it's really getting good. Like, and I honestly can't wait for episodes.
I know the Bad Batch is supposed to be a sad series, and it may very well end up being that way. But I'm starting to see that the Bad Batch may end up with more than one season. Just because I'm trying to see how things are developing and characters. And while there's still a lot of episodes left, they're throwing in a lot of characters, and they're throwing a lot of stuff that can happen.
So here's my thing, Brennan. This is kind of, I know this is kind of in your wheelhouse, and Nate not to discredit things you know or you say, but I keep going back to Clone Wars episodes, season 7. It started out one way, and then it literally tied into so much stuff. Here's my question to you guys. Where we are right now in the Star Wars timeline, we're right after we're right after Order 66, right after it, right?
Right.
What could the Bad Batch potentially tie into these sort of iconic stories? Or is there something that
I believe. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
I was say.
Both of y'all at the same time. Go ahead.
I think the Disney, because you also have to remember that the Disney is this is still the Disney new universe for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. They can kind of write in and retcon a lot of stuff in between areas.
Sure.
I think they can very well use the Bad Batch as a means to explain a lot of stuff, like the rebellion is, because the Bad Batch can just kind of be a free floating group. They can kind of go from place to place and just kind of meet those characters and those side characters, and not necessarily have the hard influence the story. Like they can be like, well, this character met the Bad Batch while they were doing mercenary work on this planet this time, and this is their story, and this character went on to be so on and so forth. Like, and I hate to tie this into something Marvel did, but like, Marvel used to tie characters into like the back of the books for their more popular characters and stuff like that. They kind of get them started or get their stories started. Like the Fantastic Four started like that and stuff like that. Like, or Thor started like that. He would be at the end of like the Fantastic Four stories because Fantastic Four was super popular. And
Right.
Thor will have like a little couple page story and so on and so forth. They can
Sure.
kind of use the Bad Batch like that to get other characters into the Star Wars universe in between the time, between Order 66 and whatever time that I guess they want to start their next venture.
I guess from what I know about things, I mean, and not to really look on this on a whole sort of grandiose scale, but I almost hate this. I don't hate to say it, but I think a lot of the series, and I guess we're kind of segueing out of Episode 6, but a lot of the series that we're about to see, as far as Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, Nate, I think to your point, I think there very well could be a link to the Bad Batch. With
100%.
maybe not all of them, but maybe Hunter, maybe Tech, maybe Echo.
Maybe Omega.
Maybe
Listen,
yeah.
I'm like Omega would be a
and
freaking bounty hunter.
And that was something we kind of said in the last episode, where we may very well see Fennec Shand come back, and that was an idea. We don't know, but Omega, as young as she is, something tells me just as young as she is. I mean, not that
Like,
I
they're always
watched a lot
teaching
of
her
it.
how to fight, always teaching her how to do this. Like, what if like an archer is like her main weapon? She's just like.
I'm almost to the point. I'm ready to put Omega, and not that I watched a lot of it, and so forgive me if I overstep my boundaries, but I'm ready to put Omega in the same category, not from a strength, power, or even importance standpoint, but just because she started so young, and Ahsoka was so young with Anakin. I'm ready to put her Omega in that same category where we're going to grow with her. We're going to see an older Omega.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, as we saw an older Ahsoka.
100%. Yeah.
I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready to commit to that.
I'm ready to commit to that. I think.
I'm almost ready. That she fought alongside the Bad Batch. Maybe she is the initial spark for the rebellion. Who knows? You know what I mean?
I know.
Like there's.
I think Omega's story is truly the biggest thing that's going to come out of the Bad Batch.
Cool.
Like you're going to learn, like you're going to have like all the great events and tie in all the little Star Wars characters from previous iconic films and stuff. But ultimately, I think it is going to be the story of Omega. She's going to be like.
I think we said it. I think we said in the last episode. Like, how cool would it be? Just because the way Fennec Shand kind of took to her was like, "Hey, here's how you steal food. Here's how you eat, whatever." Like, how dope would it be if just like, they didn't pretty much overtook, Jabba the Hutt's palace. It's now Boba Fett, and just like you see an older live action Omega, you're just like,
she just like pans onto the screen. Like
this makes perfect sense.
That'd be freaking wild.
And it turns out she's Rey.
What do you say? Oh my god!
I said it turns out she's Rey.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Crack theories out here. This.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else we could add to Episode 6, guys. Episode 7 will be out Friday.
Yep.
Episode's Friday.
Not only, if I'm not mistaken,
Wednesday
is Episode 1 of Loki.
Episode 1 of Loki is Wednesday.
We'll be back soon.
Fasten your seatbelts. Make sure all tray tables are in the upright position. Turn off all electronic devices. This flight's about to take off.
Loki and the Bad Batch. Look out.
But all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight.
It's about to get real.
Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you, and y'all have a good one.
All right, guys.